So I had one comment that basically came to me and said that someone approached her and said that women are the forefront of fitna. Sadly, that is a very big misconception that even some mainstream scholars have about women. And of course, not all scholars. But sadly, possibly even mainstream ones have these kind of opinions. So today we'll address a famous hadith that I heard about. It's in Sahih Bukhari 2858, where it basically says, I heard the Prophet ﷺ saying, evil omen is in three things, which is the horse, the woman, and the house. And of course, I'm pretty sure we don't need to think which is the really controversial one, a woman as an evil omen. And of course, we're no stranger to, there is a lot of hadiths that seem very problematic about women. And obviously when you interpret these hadiths in a certain way, just looking at them at face value, it seems like they're basically almost demonizing women in a way. As if they're those evil, vile things that are the forefront of fitna, as the commenter told me they were told. And I know that's true because I even hear this sometimes. So before we dive into what this hadith is actually about, what it actually is saying, through Allah's will, we will look at the possible interpretations that some scholars have come with. So, the first one is that the three things mentioned in this hadith are not ominous by nature, as in not so by their intrinsic nature, more like through their habits and circumstances. So in other words, they're not basically saying this hadith is talking about something else. Moreover, even by some, they're saying in that interpretation, if bad omens were to be possible, then it would be in those three things. So in other words, they're also agreeing that yes, women can be evil by their nature and circumstance, but not their intrinsic nature. Now the other interpretation, which I agree with, is they're saying this was actually during a period of jahiliyyah, ignorance, that preceded even the advent of Islam. Because we know before Islam there was this cultural belief that women read bad omens. Hence the reason they were killing their children when they find out they're girls. They were killing them. Do you see what I mean? Some have also said that the Prophet did not actually state his point of view in this hadith, which is exactly what it is. It was just the belief of the people in that time. Now, is this supported by something? Yes, through Allah's mercy, subhanallah. Aisha radiallahu anha, according to this link, she was informed that Abu Hurairah had narrated that the Holy Prophet ﷺ had said that there were evil omens in horses, women, and houses, right? She became extremely angry and said the Prophet had never said such a thing. It was about the people of Jahiliyyah in that period. The Prophet was quoting them, saying they believed in these omens and that they're myths. Do you see, subhanAllah, when context matters? Because the people of Jahiliyyah considered these three things to be a cause of misfortune. So the Prophet is forbidding this. However, the hadith, it was only heard, that's what Aisha said. She said that Abu Hurairah had only heard the last part of the Prophet's statement, but he did not hear the first part. And not only that, she even went on to say that the Prophet ﷺ had in fact said, may Allah destroy those Jews who say that there are evil omens in these three things. But they did not hear the first part of that and only heard the last part, which is that he said that there are evil things in these three things, women, houses, and horses. So do you see when context really matters, subhanAllah? And you have people obviously to believe that women are the forefront of fitna, or that women are just evil, or they're more likely to be the ones that are sinners, because that's not the only hadith as we know. There's even the one about the majority of followers of Dajjal are going to be women, or the ones that the majority of women are the ones that are going to be in hellfire. It's women, not men. All of those are without context, guys. However, what we forget is why are the majority of women are going to be the ones in hellfire, and why are the majority of women going to be the followers of Dajjal? Because in the signs of Judgment Day, it literally says the number of men will decrease while the number of women will increase until there is, for one man, there's like 50 women. It basically showing you a drastic increase in the number of women compared to the number of men. Do you see my point? Without context, it looks like these hadiths are basically just demonizing women. They're these vile things. They're horrible. They're the forefront of fitna. They're more the ones that are probably through their habits and circumstances, as one of the interpreters said, that they are the ones that cause evil, or the ones likely to cause evil. And man is just, basically, no. Allah literally said in the Quran, guys, we're both equal. Our values are different, but we are equal. So do you see what happens without context? It's truly sad, because there's even some scholars that hold that belief. So of course, according to the signs of Judgment Day, when you have that drastic increase in number of women, then of course the majority in hellfire is going to be probably women. Because of the number. Not because they're more the ones that are likely to sin. Now let's go to the hadiths that are stating clearly praiseworthy, beautiful things about women. Because if those hadiths are interpreted at face value, they contradict those hadiths. So, in Sahih Muslim, the Prophet said that a pious wife was the greatest blessing in this world. The greatest blessing is a pious wife. And that's obviously supported by other hadiths, like the one that's saying the best of you, men, are those that are best to their wives in manners. Subhanallah. So the Prophet is literally saying the best of men. So you can spend all your life devoting your worship to Allah, worshipping Him, praying, all of those things. But if you're not good to your wife, you are not the best of men. Do you see what I mean? And apparently in this link, in Sunan al-Nisa'i, there's also this, and of the things of this world that the Prophet said he loved women and perfume. And a very famous one about the, what was it again? Paradise is under the feet of a mother, right? We all know that one. Or one of the companions was asking the Prophet ﷺ who they should love more or something like that. And what did the Prophet say? Your mother. Then they asked, then who? He said, your mother. Then they asked, who then? Then he said, your mother. Then who? Then he said, your father. Do you see what I mean? All of those hadiths are clearly praising women. It's not even that they're just saying, yeah, women are just... No, they're even praising them. Talking about their beauty, talking about that they are these blessings. Do you see what I mean? Yet those other hadiths seem like they're demonizing them. Do you see the difference? Without context, you take it as face value, and what do you get? Unfortunately, people that think that women are at the forefront of fitna. Some of us even believe that scholars are basically almost infallible. No, they can also make mistakes, you know. Just like us, like anyone can. No one is infallible except the prophets, guys. So always do your research as well and not blindly follow. So sadly, you have some people that believe that women are the forefront of fitna, like that commentator also said, because there is some scholars that hold that belief as well, and they're blind followers. So they follow the scholars, those scholars. So always remember, guys, always our source of guidance, number 1, Quran. Number 2, not hadith, sunnah, which is found in both hadith and Quran. Mostly hadith, but it is also in Quran. And number 3, now then we go to hadith. So Because what happens when we take hadith as a primary source of guidance rather than a secondary form of guidance? That happens. And of course, other than the fact that also when you look at a hadith without context at face value and just take it like that, then that also happens. So are women likely to sin? Of course. Are men likely to sin? Of course. We're the same, guys. There is no difference between us other than our values. But in totality, those values are still equal. We're just different. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're created to be different. That's why we complete each other like puzzle pieces. That's the point. Because we complete each other. If we're completely the same, then how do we complete each other? We don't. Men are more likely to be logical. That's why they excel when it comes to logical things. But when it comes to emotion, they're not as good. Women are more likely to be emotional. That's why they excel when it comes to emotional things. But when it comes to logic, they're not as good as men. So our values are different, but in totality, we're the same. And for some reason, this pisses people off so much. I'm a woman and I can be logical too. Yes, you can, obviously. But no matter how you look at it, you're not going to be as logical as a man. Because you're different and there's nothing wrong with that. And the men that say, well, I can also be emotional too, you know. Yes, but again, you're not going to be the same when it comes to the emotional aspect as a woman is. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why that pisses people off so much. Probably because of those movements like the, feminist movements that try to act like they're trying to all about equality for men and women, but in reality they're just empowering women to be and saying they're more superior to men. So in other words, you're not making it better. You're just saying women are better than men, but indirectly acting like, nope, that's not it. We're just all about equality. When it's clearly not. And ones about toxic masculinity, those movements are literally just brainwashing us. But in reality, they're just making us more superior to the other's gender. That's all they are. They're not helping. The reality is, we are different. But the totality of those values will always be equal. Because Allah said we are equal. But we're just different. That's why we're perfect for each other, because we complete each other. Like two puzzle pieces. You can't connect the same puzzle piece together now, can you? However, you can complete two complementary puzzle pieces, right? That's men and women. SubhanAllah.